Oh, hello there. Whew. Good day for a ride, I tell you. All right. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is George Slackhick.
The one and only.
And I'm welcoming you to another video. Today, I'd like to talk about bylaws that certain cities have. This one in particular, I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, that prohibit flying your drone or launching your drone from city property, city parks, that sort of thing. There are more and more drone operators in cities these days, and in Edmonton is no exception. We allow a lot of dangerous things in our parks. Edmonton, for example, you're allowed to consume alcoholic beverages. That can easily get out of hand. You have areas where dogs can run around off the leash. They're harder to control than my drone, I promise you. And then, of course, you have here in a park not far from here, they're playing disc golf. They're like frisbee discs that have to be tossed at a certain target, and well, once you launch the disc, it's out of your control, right? It could hit somebody, and well, it's no different than a drone in my book. Anyways, so I think that bylaw for Edmonton should be changed, and that's why I'm sharing this video on our local Facebook group that covers Edmonton drone operators. Well, the reason why I'm doing this today is because this morning in my email I received an invitation to fill out a survey, and it's about the public spaces in Edmonton. There's bylaws that are governing these spaces, like parks and Churchill Square, that sort of thing. And I think that is an indication that they're reworking the bylaws for the parks and the public spaces, which is a good thing, because maybe there's hope that we get at least some areas in Edmonton where we can launch a drone without having to go through a big permission process and proof of insurance and all this kind of stuff. So in order to accomplish that, I have written a letter to my city councillor. Her name is Ashley Salvador. And I thought if I record this video today and I post it, then maybe a whole lot of other people are going to see this wherever you are. Maybe your city doesn't have that problem, but if it does, perhaps writing to your representative is a way of changing something. So I've done that, and I want to encourage anyone in Edmonton to do the same. If you're a drone operator in Edmonton, write to your city councillor, and I'm going to read you what I have written. It's on my iPad here. I always have the iPad with me when I have the drone with me, because I also have the Drone Pilot Canada app on there. But here's a letter to Councillor. Hi, Councillor, how have you been? Today I'm writing to you in regards to the public spaces survey I got to complete this morning. I noticed that drones were mentioned. As an advanced licensed drone operator, I would like to share with you my perspective on launching drones from city property. Unfortunately, every drone operator in Edmonton faces the same dilemma. The current bylaw does not allow drone operations in public places except with a special permit. There are some barriers to obtaining such a permit, so for many of us, practicing our hobby on city property is almost impossible. When I went for my flight review recently, which is a requirement for obtaining the advanced license, it had to be done in Spruce Grove because that city doesn't have a bylaw against drones. All my practice flights had to be done either outside of Edmonton or literally on or in the river, because that's Crown property and the city can't tell me not to fly there. The only other options we have are private properties, basically our own backyards, or someone else's land if we ask politely. You know how that goes sometimes. As a local taxpayer who contributes to the existence of the public spaces we have, I find it hard to accept that I have to ask private companies and citizens for permission to launch my drone from their property, simply to ensure it's legal. While I understand that there may be safety concerns about flying drones in public parks and other places, please take a moment to think about some other activities that are allowed and or tolerated. For example, people are allowed to walk dogs without a leash in many places. There are places where people throw discs, and even the consumption of alcoholic beverages is allowed. I can assure you that a drone is easier to control than any free-running dog, flying disc, or person who had too many beers. The Canadian aviation regulations already cover all the safety concerns about drones, with many rules and recommendations. A camera drone is really nothing more than a camera with wings, a camera that can fly, which makes it an amazing tool that many of us would like to take advantage of, with as few restrictions as possible. FPV drones, in brackets because she may not know what FPV drones are, first-person view with goggles, are strictly regulated and illegal without a visual observer. That's a Canadian rule, not city. It is possible to operate drones safely in public spaces by simply following federal rules. That's why I believe the bylaw should be scrapped, or at least amended in a way that will allow the use of drones in certain public spaces. It is perfectly legal to fly a drone from a friend's backyard over any place in Edmonton that is not restricted or controlled airspace. Beyond that, we can get permission to fly even in those places, airspaces. That is because the city of Edmonton does not have jurisdiction over the airspace. However, I cannot use any of the public land that I've contributed to launch and control my drone from. Perhaps it would be possible to give peace officers some basic training on the Canadian aviation regulations so they'd be equipped to spot violations and report them. But the current restrictions go too far. Please support drone operators and hobbyists when this bylaw comes up for review. There's much more dangerous stuff happening in our public spaces. Drone accidents are extremely rare. Thank you and all the best. George Schlakic. Boom. So, excuse my bad reading. I'm not really that good at this, but I've written this, and I'm sure you can write a letter too. You can copy mine if you want, but it's always better when there are more different versions of it. More people write to their city councillors all over Edmonton. And of course, my audience is not just in Edmonton, so if you are anywhere where this bylaw thing is a problem with drones, guys, I think we need to do something about it. We need to fight this. It's just not right, because drones aren't that dangerous when operated within regulations, and there are already enough regulations that restrict us. So let's try to get rid of the ones that are absolutely unnecessary. And with that, I'm leaving you some food for thought. So let's get cracking on that, Edmonton. We need to be allowed to fly our drones, at least in some public spaces. And that's all I got for today, guys. It is still daylight. It's not beautiful weather, but from what I can see, I might still be able to get a small flight in down by the river, not in this park. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find it useful, and I hope something's gonna happen. So please gently touch that like button, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.